Maybe just show the ultrasound, bro. I don't know.
Exactly. Show the ultrasound and celebrate the birthdays when they come along. We had an incident where I think it was our kid's 2-year-old birthday, and we had real glasses, and somebody knocked a glass on. There's glass on the floor, and suddenly everybody's picking up their kids because they don't want the kids traipsing over the glass. I mean, that was they created heartburn for me. I was like terrified that somebody was gonna get, and that was just because we had a glass on the table and we were stupid about not paying enough attention. These things that are more complex, grief.
Well, I feel for that family, and especially the pilot's family that died there. Thank you here, David, for joining us on the show again. Another Tuesday on the Damage Report. Appreciate you being here. We also love that you guys are with us as well. Go ahead and check out Indisputable next. We'll see y'all tomorrow for Big Ass News Wednesday. I got you, Mike, for sure. Thanks, you guys. See you tomorrow.
Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richard. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day, none other than Sharon Reed, TYT Sports contributor, all-star, always fascinating to have on the program. Also, in the bullpen, the story that we broke last week of 2 black truckers being discriminated against at a Denny's in South Dakota. We broke that story, gave you the update. The VP of Denny's National got in touch with me, gave an apology to the gentleman. Those gentlemen will be on the program today to give you the update as to what happens next. We also have an update from Denny's as well. Should be quite fascinating. I can tell you that the individual has been fired from that Denny's who engaged in this kind of discriminatory action. All right, top story of the day, Donald Trump and his allies. Well, looks like some of them are about to start, snitching. Okay, let's put it up full mass. Very interesting. Out of the cast of characters, who do you think will be the first to turn state? Well, typically, it's the individual acting as if they would never betray Donald Trump. If you remember, Cohen said in front of a judge that he would take a bullet for Trump. And immediately I said, him snitching. Because only someone who is actually turning state would say something so insane in the courtroom. History has shown the 18 co-defendants that Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself, said Michael Cohen, the guy who should know, Trump's former attorney, referring to the 18 people charged alongside Trump in the Georgia election racketeering case. Quote, I suspect it will be every defendant for himself, Cohen added. He should know he was once Trump's versatile fixer, but is now a star witness against him in the New York criminal case, stemming from the hush money payments to a, adult porn star. Cohen broke with Trump years ago, but in recent weeks, Trump allies are now facing, or could face, jeopardy in connection with 3 of his 4 pending criminal cases. They have shown they might follow Cohen's lead. In late August, an information technology aide at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort dramatically changed his story about alleged efforts to erase surveillance video and agreed to cooperate with special counsel Jack Smith, who has charged Trump with hoarding classified documents. The aide, Yuscil Tavares, was not charged in the case, but his flip may help him dodge a possible perjury charge prosecutors were in fact floating. And it is likely to bolster Smith's obstruction of justice case against Trump and 2 other aides. Now, this is going to be an interesting dynamic because if they can show or establish and prove that Donald Trump coerced a witness or potential witness to either A, lie, or B, cover up information, engage in obstruction, active obstruction of justice, and he testifies to this matter and has proof or evidence for the testimony, well, that's another concrete charge. That's evidence provided. There's more. Then 3 GOP activists who were indicted alongside Trump in Georgia for trying to interfere with the certification of President Joe Biden's win in the state, asserted that their actions were all taken at Trump's behest. And last week, Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows, as I reported, basically snitched on Donald Trump, also charged in the Georgia case, signaled that his defense is likely to include blaming the former president as the primary driver of the effort. Now, how is that? Meadows argued last week that the entire reason he should have his case removed from the Fulton County jurisdiction to the jurisdiction of the federal government is because he was acting under the guise of a federal officer. And acting under the guise of his federal position, he should not be tried in a state proceeding. Well, what does that mean? That means that his affirmative defense is going to be that he was simply doing what his boss told him to do. And because of that, he's covered under the guise of his federal position. Will that hold water? Likely not. He knows better. Okay, you don't get to blindly follow someone and then say, oh, well, I was just following orders. Doesn't work that way. All right. Strategically speaking, if you are one of the lesser important players, you would definitely want to be in the same trial with Donald Trump. All of the focus is going to be on him, says Scott Weinberg, a Florida-based attorney who represented one of the Oath Keepers in a high-profile trial stemming from the Jan 6th attack on the Capitol. Quote, they don't want the little guys, they want Trump. You're always compared to who you're next to. And he's talking about inside of the same court proceeding, in front of the same judge and jury. And I agree. Now, there are those pushing back on this narrative saying, wait a minute, Donald Trump should not be treated any differently. Why would they simply want to go after him? Here's what's ironic about the narrative Republicans are trying to now spew. When there's a mob boss, nobody says, well, why are they going after the mob boss in such an aggressive way? Why is it that the mob boss is being treated differently as if he's the target? Everybody knows the mob boss is the target. Everybody understands the criminality of leadership and the hierarchy that it is coming from. But all of a sudden, in the case of Donald Trump, who not only is the in fact leader, he's the former president of the United States. Of course, he's the target. And he is the but-for factor. If it had not been for him, none of this would be a reality. He's the guy who they're going to target. And it's going to look like he's the guy they're going to target, period. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
So in keeping with your analogy, Dr. Ritchie, you're saying that Donald Trump would be like the John Gotti figure, less dapper, right?
That's right. Exactly.
I look at this as a WWE battle royale, and I don't know how many of your audience enjoy that, but it's like, it starts with like 20 contestants and then eliminate them one by one where they're thrown over the rope. And I think that's exactly what's gonna happen here. I would say one thing about the Oath Keeper lawyer who said, you wanna be sitting next to Donald Trump. I agree, except for perhaps two of the defendants. I'm sure you could guess which two would not get off any easier.
Yeah, Trump may just blame them for the whole thing.
Sure.
And it could work, hell.
America would buy it.
Right. All right, hell of a thing. A police officer, a cop, decides to criminally assault a pregnant woman, pin her to the ground, tased her. Well, he gets 30 days in jail. I want to take you to the video and give you the background to this. Here it is.
Is there a reason why you need my ID?
Yes, you're being trespassed from the location.
Okay.
Okay, need you to follow me to my car, please?
Like drive?
No, you're gonna walk, you're gonna leave your car here, and we're gonna go to my car, I'm gonna do the trespass, and then you'll be free to go.
No, baby, I don't have my shoes on. I can drive there.
You're not gonna drive. You're gonna walk to me towards my car, I'm gonna do the trespass, and then you're gonna be on your way.
Give you a trespass, why is it a trespass?
Yeah, like I pay for everything. Like I don't understand.
Okay, whatever it is, we're not gonna go back and forth. Either you come out with me and we do the trespass, or you're getting arrested. How you wanna do it?
You're gonna arrest me for what though? What did I do?
Resisting without violence. I'm telling you to walk with me to my vehicle because I need to trespass you. But members of the staff require me. Listen, I don't care about that. Find the shoes and come out.
But how can't just drive right
Last time that I tell you come out of the car, or I'm gonna get you out of the car. Whatever you wanna do it.
Okay, record this because my
You can record. I'm recorded. I've been recorded since the first time.
Thank you, because my dad's a police officer.
I don't care about that.
Okay, I don't either.
Get your shoes and come with me.
Yours. Okay, so whatever you want to do, pull me out the car. Go ahead. Don't reach in my car. Is you crazy? You can't reach in my car.
What are you doing?
Like, no, what is he doing? I'm
Come out of the car.
like, come on, don't be fucking pulling. Like, what's wrong with? Why the fuck is you crazy? Like, don't be. There he is. I'm 119 pounds.
On her neck though?
Really?
Why is you kneeing on her neck though? That's weird. Why is that kneeing on her neck though? Why are you kneeling on her?
Get back! Get back!
No, why are you taking her? Stop. Why are you taking her?
Put your hands on your
Don't
Put your hands.
Understand the context. Everything that officer did was illegal. He was found guilty of it. Put up his picture, full mask. That is the cowardly 33-year-old Jordy Martell, a former Miami Gardens officer. He has now been sentenced to 30 days in jail. He has probation, less than 2 years, 250 hours of community service because of what he did that night. 250 hours of community service is going to be interesting. 30 days in jail, ironic. And let me tell you why. This took place in 2020. He was accused of aggressively arresting a pregnant black woman outside of a Miami club. What was he convicted of? He was convicted of battery and criminal trespass. Battery and criminal trespass. Let me say something about that. Battery and criminal trespass. What does criminal trespass mean? It means you were physically in a location you did not have legal access to. That's what it means. Put up the picture of the young lady he violated. Bodycam and cell phone footage show precisely when Officer Martell used a taser on Miss Sophia Satchel's belly multiple times. She's pregnant. Then he placed his knee on her neck during this excessive criminal arrest, meaning he's the criminal outside of the bar. According to reports, she was 4 months pregnant. She later miscarried, okay? It's unclear if she lost the baby due to the tasing, according to the report. Satchel told the Miami Herald in 2020, quote, "I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. I was scared for my life. I've always had respect for the law. My family, a lot of people who are close to me are police officers. I felt violated," end quote. What was the dispute over? She had a dispute over food. It was a food order. A manager asked Officer Martell, working security, he's off duty now. He's just a security guy, okay? But he still is in his police uniform. So the manager told the security officer to issue Ms. Satchel a trespassing warning because she threw a tip at a server on her way out of the club, according to the affidavit. The victim's friend, identified as Raheem Stotts Fleming, recorded cell phone video of the incident, during which he is told by a security guard, "Delete that," end quote. There's more. The affidavit says she suffered abrasions and bruises. Officer Martell's own summary of the arrest said she was checked out at the scene by paramedics before being booked at a nearby police station. Charges against the young lady were dropped. In its arrest affidavit, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement said Officer Martell lied on his police report, had no reason to arrest Ms. Satchel, did not inform her that she was being arrested, and used excessive force. Now, this is a point worth noting. When he said, "Walk with me to write this citation," trespass citation, and she says, "No, I can drive over there," or "Officer, you can actually write it here." He then says, "Well, I'm going to have you arrested." For what? For nonviolent resisting. Resisting what? I'm not under arrest. You see, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to say someone was somehow, obstructing your justice when you're not affecting justice. You simply wanted her to come with you, okay? For whatever reason. There's more. During his trial, Officer Martell's attorney argued he was doing his job and Satchel was not cooperating with others. They said she was fighting back and allegedly hit Officer Martell, where she has a right to do so when she's being criminally assaulted. He's the one committing trespass, remember? In court, the young lady said, and I quote, "From his knee, choking the life out of me, fabricating reports and lying about me, to being tased multiple times in the abdomen while being pregnant. I want him to suffer as much as he intended for me to suffer that night." I want to remind everyone, you don't do something like this without having a record of doing something like this and it being protected. It's not the first time he acted in such a manner. So while the city may be doing the right thing today, understand the culture that permeates inside of that industry called law enforcement is the reason he felt comfortable enough to violate this black woman. After the sentencing, Ms. Satchel told NBC6 Miami, quote, "Justice was served. He changed me as a person mentally and physically. And I've accepted due to his actions, I will never be the same." As part of his sentencing, he also has to serve 100 hours speaking at police academies about what not to do when serving as a police officer. Martell has 2 weeks to surrender to corrections. All right, let me say this first to the young lady who was violated. I'm so sorry this happened to you. So sorry this happened. And I agree with you. I agree with your words. You will never be the same again. But that can mean two different things. You can be better than you've ever been. You can be stronger than you've ever been. I encourage you to continue giving power to yourself, because he took nothing away from you. He took nothing away from you, okay? He doesn't have the authority. You stood up, everything's been taken from him. He doesn't have a job, he's going to the pokey. He's in a position of weakness because that's who he was. He was a weak person anyway. He's going where he belongs, to jail, trying to violate you. The fact that he's only getting 30 days incarcerated for something so egregious, well, that's the part that creates this us and them dynamic in the community. The community conflict comes out of conclusions like this. This man criminally assaulted a pregnant woman. He had a gun on him, uses a taser, he unlawfully attacks her. He decides to then put his knee on her. She could have died. She ends up miscarriage. He gets 30 days. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Yeah, and if the person who was with her recording, thank goodness, would have jumped in to protect her, as would have been, I think, legal too. You have a perp here, a perp in uniform, really impersonating as if he had the full powers of his certification. At the time, he did not. 30 days is pathetic. What more is in the file? And by the way, 250 hours of community service. This guy is a danger to the community. What is he possibly going to serve the community with? He'll probably walk into the academy, Dr. Ritchie, and get a standing ovation. He's not the one to teach anyone anything.
Right. He's gonna walk in there and probably get a consulting job or something.
Absolutely.
It's insane. All right. Hell of a thing. Texas company, according to workers, they are allowed to say the N-word to black people. They are allowed to discriminate openly. Let's put up the pictures of leadership full mask. Texas company TNT Crane and Rigging is being sued by the EEOC for racial discrimination for their mistreatment of black employees, 4 of which are named in the suit. According to the suit, the employees had to endure managers and other employees using racially offensive language, including the N-word, hate symbols like nooses, and lightning bolt stickers, and retaliation for speaking out, all while on the job. There's more. The faces behind the company, respectively, you have Mr. Mark Irian, who is the CEO. You have Craig Lunsford, president, Kevin Lawson, VP of operations, and Randy Bartok. Randy is the vice president of finance. None have commented as of yet. In one April 2018 incident, Smith who served as a crane operator, was ordered by the field manager to pick up an air conditioning unit at the Fort Worth facility while working in Frisco, Texas. He was met with racial slurs when he asked the manager for help. N-word, if you are going to be about it, you can turn that truck around and take your home, end quote, the manager allegedly said, according to the lawsuit. When Smith attempted to report him, as stated in the lawsuit, he didn't receive an effective response from his management. Creighton also allegedly had a similar situation while working as a crane operator for the company. The complaint also says he was called the N-word by a field manager. It also says that Campbell, a truck driver, overheard his colleagues using the derogatory term. He later discovered that he also was being referred to as a white co-worker's black buddy. When he tried to put in a report, management, he reportedly was told, said it would be handled. However, it was never addressed. Pradia started working as a rigger for the company, 2019. He claimed that in one interaction, a white colleague told him, quote, "A lot of black people are effing lazy. Blank, you're different. You're not like other N-words. You work. You work though. That's what I like about you." That person allegedly said. Let's put it up. Black employees weren't the only ones spurned by this toxic, hostile work environment. The complaint mentions Nathan Cook, a white employee who was targeted after reporting the harassment and discrimination he witnessed in the work environment, according to the lawsuit. Cook alleged that he was physically assaulted and labeled a wigger and snitch by his peers. Following his complaints, his hours and pay were reduced. The alleged retaliation, along with other factors, led him to resign from his position. TNT knowingly permitted a work environment filled with racist comments and imagery. No employee should have to work in an environment openly hostile to their race, and no employee should suffer reprisal for objecting to discriminatory practices. That's coming from the government, the EEOC. The attorney, Brian Hawthorne, said this in a recent news release. The lawsuit requests compensatory and punitive damages for the black employees. For Cook, EEOC seeks similar relief, including back pay, front pay, and potential reinstatement. Now, do you know how difficult it is to get the EEOC to directly sue a company? The reason it's difficult for them to get involved in such a direct way, because usually they simply give you clearance to sue, and you can get a private attorney and then sue from there. For them to get directly involved, it has to be such a slam dunk case. No doubt there's more evidence against these guys. No doubt that this permeates from the top of management. Put up their pictures again. Now, they're going to claim they didn't know anything about this. That will likely be their affirmative defense if they do not settle out of court. Well, I want to say this, gentlemen, in my opinion, either you all are racist as hell or dumb as hell. Because either A, you all protected the environment, which I believe holistically happened. You protected this racist environment. And when you claim, or if you claim that you knew nothing about it, you all have to be the most ineffective managers on the planet Earth. Routinely, these gentlemen filed document after document asking management, pay attention. There's a culture here. They didn't go to an attorney first. They came to you all. You are exactly where you should be, but not responding to the people who work hard for you. Sharon, thoughts here.
Yeah, I think this lawsuit, to use their words, allegedly, has to work different and not be the typical lazy EEOC lawsuit, Dr. Ritchie. I'd like to see sweeping change. Yeah. No more government contracts. And I would take issue with the statement the EEOC put out just a little bit. Permitted should be removed, promoted is really what happened here. They didn't just sit by, they promoted it. Like you said, top down. No more government contracts. Is that gonna happen?
Yeah, that needs to happen ASAP. You need to do that before the conviction. I mean, damn, all right? Federal contracts are not bound by some judicial proceeding. You'll rip them away when you choose to. Okay, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
The rest of the news media says you should not fight for positive change. If you do, you're not really a reporter or a journalist, because reporters and journalists don't care what happens. I don't agree. That's not written anywhere. That's not a law. It's just a rule that they invented so that reporters didn't actually challenge the people that are in power. Well, we don't agree with that. We think we should challenge the people in power, that actually makes you a better journalist, not a worse one. Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. Here at TYT, we understand this. That's why we're not gonna price gouge you or use inflation as an excuse to raise our prices. A TYT membership is not your typical subscription, but basic membership is still just $4.99. So what do you get for that price? For starters, you're getting exclusive programming, unique exclusive designs from Shop TYT, access to a members only chat, giveaways, emojis, and so many other amazing perks. But most importantly, you're helping to make an impact. As a TYT member, you not only help us do the shows every day, but you drive real positive change in the process. In 2017, we helped to start Justice Democrats right here on TYT. That's a group that got a dozen progressives elected into Congress. That's amazing, you did that. Your support also funds TYT's very own investigative reporting. Just recently, our reporters exposed the Fellowship Foundation and pressured lawmakers into boycotting that bigoted event. Isn't that amazing? We raised over $30,000 for Jackson, Mississippi, and delivered clean water to thousands of people in need. Our petitions, polls, and community of activists help keep the corruption of Washington in check. That's the impact of what just $4.99 a month from our members can do. And we're just getting started. Positive change doesn't occur overnight, but with your contribution, we can make it happen together.
I got pulled in. They told me, hey, listen, Cenk, we're insiders. We are the establishment. People in Washington tell me that they're concerned about your tone. We think that there's a better role for you, and it's not in 6 o'clock. The problem with the mainstream media is they're desperate to get access. They don't challenge the government. They don't challenge power. We're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media.
Components that corrupt our politicians, I think, also corrupt mainstream media. It's really difficult for cable outlets to talk about things like income inequality, wealth inequality, when the advertisers that are funding their shows are the same corporations that want to ensure that the same system continues. People watch digital media or new media, they get a completely different message. They focus on the issues that matter or resonate more with the constituency. We need to know one thing. Is the corporate media incompetent?
Corporate media, I can't hear you. Establishment press, where are you? I can't hear you. But the media's position I am clear on. Everything is pro-war, so everything is just framed that way. In this case, I mean, war is inevitable, right? I mean, the defense contractors should get a couple more $1 trillion. You ready for the stunning results? Only 6% of people say they have a great deal of confidence in the press. Wakey, wakey, okay? Progressives don't like the media either. You know why? It's the corporate media. Corporate media sounds like a conspiracy. Wait. Who owns you? Multi-billion-dollar corporations, public corporations. Right? You have to do corporate media because corporations own us. Yeah, that's how it works.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive Shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda. Neptune. Oh, that's interesting. Never dreamed I see so many people back a rapist and sex abuser, women. Let's not forget, Trump was found guilty of rape. Who backs rapists? You're absolutely correct. He was found guilty. When I said that on my radio show that, okay, so Trump is a convicted rapist. Conservatives pushed back. He wasn't convicted. Yeah, he was convicted. He was convicted. It was a civil trial, but he was convicted. All right. And yep. Bernie the Kiwi Dragon. This is what happens when the mob boss doesn't cover his goons' legal costs. That part. See, if he was a real gangster, you would either pay the legal bills or there's a hitman looking for you. And you would know which, I'm just saying, you would know which one pretty quickly, all right? So Trump, obviously, he's not paying anybody legal bills, and Giuliani is still begging for money. Tyler Hackner, member for 11 months, thank you for that. Love you, Doc. You're a continued inspiration for me. Thank you for always speaking truth to power. And you're an inspiration for me. Iron sharp as iron. All right, I appreciate your support. Dragon Muslima, member for 5 months. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Dr. Richard, for being a strong voice for people. May Allah continue to support you. Amen. Amen to you, and assalamu alaikum to you. Thank you so much for that. And Jim Barclay, welcome to Indisputable. We appreciate you for joining the train here. All right, got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. You stepped up to me and harassed me because of my Down syndrome status. And I am sick and tired of being harassed because I have Down syndrome. You need to apologize for harassing me because of my Down syndrome status. Say, I am sorry for harassing you for having Down syndrome. And then I will move. That is called harassing me because I have Down syndrome. I will move when you have apologized for harassing me because nobody bumps into me or making up something that never happened. You walked up to me and said, are you okay? Because I have Down syndrome. Say, I am sorry for harassing you because of your Down syndrome status. I'm not moving until you say it. You harassed me because I have Down syndrome. I have Down syndrome and he's harassing me. You are harassing women with Down.
It looks like you're harassing him and he's not harassing you. Where's the managers at around here?
I got to give it to the young man who conducted himself in a very respectful, honorable way. I don't have any real commentary about the Down syndrome dynamic, but I will say that the behavior of the individual, let's put it up for a man, was not appropriate to the situation according to her own words. One commenter said, and I quote, she really needs to apologize to every person who actually has Down syndrome. I'm going to wait here until she does. Another person says, I'm confused. He asked if she was okay, and that's now considered harassment, question mark. I think a lot of people were scratching their heads. Many individuals actually thought something had happened. Like there was this actual, physical harassment, maybe some kind of verbal harassment. And then when they stuck around to listen to what the harassment accusation was, that's when they wanted the young man to be helped by management or somebody else. Quite interesting dynamic. Sharon, thoughts here?
I was confused as well, Dr. Ritchie. I didn't understand what was going on, but it does seem like it was, regardless of who has what, it seemed like it was a call for attention, eyeballs, something. That's as far as I can go as well. It just seemed like it didn't have to go there.
Yeah, not at all. All right, okay. We got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
Every day, the Young Turks delivers 2 hours of solid, fact-based, timely news and progressive commentary on all the day's most important stories. We keep our viewers informed while also providing perspective and insight on the news we cover, so you understand not only what's happening, but also what's happening behind the scenes, the stories behind the stories.
We play musical chairs and put these children in one awful detention facility to the next. That's what's happening at the border.
The things that got him banned, he's still spreading. So presumably, I think it's reasonable to say that if you allow him back on the website, he's going to do it again.
Any legal voter that we deem not willing to vote for my side shouldn't vote because it'll replace me that's supposed to vote for my side. That's not how voting works. That's not how democracy works.
And while many people following today's political news can get discouraged about the direction of the nation and the world, that's not us. At TYT, we're genuinely optimistic about the future, and with good reason. Today, wide majorities of Americans agree with our progressive stances on issues ranging from healthcare and education to climate, immigration, and wages. The rising generation of young people are also overwhelmingly progressive in their political beliefs and policy objectives, and they're increasingly flexing their muscle as voters and activists to demand change from our elected officials. The traditional mainstream media is mostly AWOL. They, along with the government and many other cherished institutions, have been captured by corporate interests. Audiences sense that they're not getting the whole story or even the truth from once trusted outlets, whether broadcasting cable TV news networks or national newspapers and magazines. The antidote is the Young Turks. Unlike mainstream corporate outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to Big Pharma, and we don't carry water for the Republican or Democratic parties. So watch us Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and join the thousands of progressives around the globe who tune in every day for TYT's unmatched, award-winning content and see what it's like to experience a news organization that only answers to you.
I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your goddamn religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care, I don't believe in it, and I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
The media can't stop talking about gridlock in Washington, as if a handful of stubborn Republicans are the only thing standing between us and a fully functional democracy. The reality is that our government was taken over by big business and their allies in both political parties. And corporate media adds to the dysfunction. The good news is that the American people are progressive and soon will take over Washington. My book, Justice is Coming, is our battle plan for making that happen. You can get Justice is Coming wherever books and audiobooks.
All right, welcome back. Lot of show left. Good to be with all of you, all right? Let me go to some of the comments. YouTube, Grumpy Cat says, she has Karen syndrome. Jamal G, do not blame Down syndrome for your problems. And Blazing Monkey, you don't have Downs. All right. Hell of a thing happened, all right? A woman gets arrested going to the women's restroom. Here it is.
And what you gonna do? If you don't leave, I'll make you leave. I don't know what you gonna do to me. I will make you leave. I ain't being aggressive. You stepping all up on me. You just stepped up on me. One. You just stepped on me. 2, 3, 4. You can't be put your hands on me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Get the out now. I'll be right now. And walk. I'm walking. You just push my. Yeah. Go.
Put up the picture for a mask. This is an indisputable exclusive. Martise Sadler was frequenting Wiley's Bar in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This was on Juneteenth of all days. She received a phone call, went into the women's restroom to be able to hear better. According to Ms. Sadler, the bar security officer followed her to the restroom and harassed her, assuming she was a man, okay? She says she was then kicked out of the restaurant by this security officer. She complained and attached the video to the establishment's Facebook page, but never got a response. Let's put it up for a mask. That is her attempting to contact somebody with a brain at the establishment. Let's keep that picture up for a second, because this is an ironic note, but it must be discussed. So she goes to the bathroom, the restroom that you all have said she must go to. This whole debate about what restroom you use, you know, over 98% of the restrooms are actually unisex in the world. When you go to somebody's home, do you go to the men's restroom or the women's restroom? Which one? You just go to the restroom. So she goes in, obviously. At some point, the security officer realizes he's made a mistake. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. My apologies to you. If you're going to live by that sword, Mr. Security Officer, be willing to follow the security, claiming I was a man in the women's bathroom. The guy in the video banged on the stall door. And once I opened it, he became very aggressive. But once it became clear that I'm clearly a woman, he chose to assault me and kick me out of the bar instead of apologizing. Put up his picture again. All right. So, sir, if there's a law against men going into the ladies' restroom, I have evidence that you should be arrested, because you're the only one who broke that rule, if one exists. What you did was not noble. She reached out via Facebook to the company, no response. Let's put them up. You're looking at Kirby Mullenberg. Mr. Mullenberg, according to his LinkedIn profile, he is in fact the owner of that Wiley. Well, we reached out to Wiley's Bar for a comment. They did not immediately respond for comment, but I guarantee they will respond now. Gentlemen, this is simple. This is easy. every single story that we've done, every single story that indisputable, we make sure, this is a rule that I have, we make sure that the individual who you victimized attempted an administrative remedy with you all first. For the most part, they tried to contact you multiple times, but were ignored, or the response was completely inappropriate to the situation. These things are not difficult to address. And most of the time, they simply would like to be heard, respected, treated like you would want to be treated. All right, we will bring you updates as they come. Sharon, thoughts here?
Well, another exclusive that is necessary to bring to people everywhere. I think Kirby Mullenberg, based on the inaction, you left us nothing but to assume you did get the message, but you don't care. Why would you not care? I can think of a couple of reasons. But there is, Doc, a personality that enjoys dominating over people they perceive as weaker and other. And this seems to be a case like this.
Yep.
Just say sorry. All you have to do is say sorry.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing, it's awkward. Just say sorry.
Right, and to physically assault someone when you realize you made a mistake, that's criminal, sir. So my opinion, you have committed a criminal act. We will see if anything is done about that. All right, hell of a story. Very sad, but true. A woman, according to her, was hit in the face with a brick because she basically refused to not give out a phone number. And nobody did a damn thing about it. Here it is.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watched, and they don't give a yeah, this man hit me, grabbed a rock, and he hit me in my face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just watch. Y'all see that? What y'all see? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man. Do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, what you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why is this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding a brick, and all these is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watching, and they let that get in a corner. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women?
I got more video. I have more insight, more update. But I want to say this. I come from a particular neighborhood where that would not have been allowed. Now, a lot of people, they have negative things to say about the neighborhood I was raised in. But I promise you, something like that would have never happened in front of any of us. Let's go to the next video.
I was one of the guys who was there that did not help her when she was getting hit with the brick, right? I feel like people need to know the whole story before they start commenting and say things they don't understand or they don't know. You guys don't even remember who you guys are trying to defend, who you guys are trying to speak up for. This is the same woman that was going around smacking white people in the streets. She's not innocent. She was actually taunting the guy to hit her. Why would I go defend somebody that's actually looking for trouble? This woman, she is literally a troublemaker. Everybody that knows her in our community knows she's a troublemaker. I'm not gonna risk my life over somebody that's actually out there looking for trouble. If you go on social media, online, you're going to see some of her antic videos, taunting people, looking for a reaction. Well, she got what she been looking for, and you guys are giving her the attention that she was actually seeking for. I don't regret not standing up for her. If you look at some of the videos, I was there. I don't regret nothing whatsoever. I don't regret standing up for her. I'm not saying she deserved it. I'm not saying that any men have a right to hit a woman, especially with a brick. Nobody deserved that. By the end of the day, there's more to the story. She's not as innocent as she's trying to portray herself to be. She wants attention. She's an attention seeker woman. She's trying to go viral, and you guys have given her what she wanted. Yes, she did get hit by a brick. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I was standing by doing nothing. And if that happened again in the same circumstances, I will watch. Because she's not as innocent as she portrays herself to be. She was taunting the guy. She was calling him all type of names. She was degrading him to a point where he resulted in picking up a brick and hitting him. But now, I post a video telling my truth, telling what I saw, and people are like, where's your proof? Well, you want me to go back to the scene of the crime and pick up the brick and show you, oh, there's the brick that hit her right across her face. Is that what you want? Like, I'm going to use your comment to also address other people. You know, people are calling me a coward. That's okay. You can call me all you want. All I know is I'm alive. I got my health with me right now. I got to go home to my daughter that night. You know what I'm saying? I got to go home to my daughter. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I'm not about to protect somebody. I am not about to risk my life for somebody that's out there looking for trouble.
They keep saying she was looking for trouble. Let me first say this to you very scared individuals who called yourselves men. You all have admitted you're afraid, okay? At least we know. Now you all are viral, okay? To the first commenter who said, well, she was slapping somebody. She was going around slapping somebody. It was a white male. This person is not innocent. That was actually a skit. She had permission. It was a skit. And that skit was reported by the Shade Room, sir. It was a skit. To the second individual, the fact that you all are even going on social media to defend yourself. See, my grandmother taught me well. She taught me this too, a hit dog will holler. And so that's why you all are going on social media. I'm glad you're doing it, actually, okay? Because I think people need to know who you are when they go somewhere with you, okay? I got a whole lot more detail and update. Put up the picture formats. Outside of the inaccurate context that others have provided, there's a very simple philosophy. I don't give a damn what word she may have used. For a man to pick up a brick and hit a woman on the side of the head, do you not know that could have killed this woman in front of all of you? She could be dead right now. And you would have been witness to a murder. Would you have gone home and said on social media, I'm just happy that I got to go home? Could have said something. You could have tried to reason with the violence before it permeated into physicality, anything. According to the Shade Room, the incident happened in Houston, Texas. Her name is Ro Bashi. Newsweek reached out to the Houston Police Department via email for comment, but no response. In regards to the bystander claiming that she hit a man, it was unrelated to the incident where the white man she slapped gave consent during a skit. In defense of people demonizing her online, others have pointed out that she is a PhD candidate whom gives back to her community in Somali. Abu Hendricks says, everyone is bringing up all these videos, trying to justify her getting hit by a brick. Laughing my A off. So I'm boosting the fact that she's a PhD candidate, has her master's from an Ivy League school, and has done more work in the Somali community than most of these incels harassing her. So her friends seeing this kind of harassment, making her, trying to make her a double victim. They made a GoFundMe page. And I would like you to support it if you can, all right? You saw the massive injury on her face and the massive response from those who are trying to justify their inaction. Gentlemen, you could have just shut the hell up. You did not have to create this kind of scenario. But I will tell you this, most people are not on your side. I'm not on your side, all right? I welcome you all. You come on the show anytime. I'd like to give you a proper check-in, all right? Anytime. We will bring you updates as they come. Obviously, an arrest needs to be made here. Share your thoughts.
An arrest indeed. A stale crumb is worth more than what you showed. A father needs to come get your son. Come get your son and his buddies and school him. Open season on a Black woman. He was saying she deserved it. Disgusting. I am thoroughly disgusted by them.
Horrible. All right. Once again, update is coming for sure. All right. There's a cop, okay? Decides to speed race. He's a cop. He can do it. Well, here's what happened.
Attention 29, 3705 Managua, 3705. A female is hallucinating. Too much of a loss for attend.
Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car.
Annex 7 back in service, 1828.
Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out.
Get out of the car.
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 Shots fired.
Shots fired. Stop the goddamn car. Stop the goddamn car.
We're gonna have a 34 on the customer route. He's gonna be out.
All right, we got a technical issue. We're gonna come back in just a moment. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
Cenk Uygur is not here today, which means that I will be able to talk during the show.
We'll see. We'll see.
Poor Cenk, under the bus.
My God, if Jesus came back, how much would the Republicans hate him? Now you have to give away all of your possessions to the poor. Steve King would be like, oh, Weezy. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a John Iadarola in their life.
You confused everyone?
Okay, sorry, I thought it was pretty clear.
Take a break now.
You can turn me to Dr. Manhattan as long as I get what Dr. Manhattan's packing, okay?
The liberal mom says, Mark Thompson, have you ever thought about doing one of those tapes that soothe people to sleep? Like Mark Thompson reads the phone book. I'd buy it.
If you'll buy it, I'll do it.
D'Amelio writes in, John, you are so thick. I love you. That's what he wrote.
Pork Chop Express writes in and says John Iadarola needs a new jacket.
Whoa.
Those 24-inch pythons are about to burst out of his sleeve.
Gun, baby. You know, the two people here said that their moms were both in love with you over Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. I usually get grandmothers.
Charlie Turk.
No, wait a minute, don't you dare.
Chemical castration when we return from the break.
I hope that, who they choose for the White House isn't just a borderline Klansman. That's all we gotta hope.
That's it, we will settle it.
She's cute.
I didn't say that about Lori Ingram.
Scandal at TYT. Did Anna comment on my tan yet? No, she hasn't.
You're a good boss.
But Anna did say that I come in here today with a fresh mind. That's all I'm about. I'm about a fresh mind.
I can't with you right now. Okay?
She just can't. She can't, but nonetheless, we have to for another 3 hours. I'm back, baby. Let's rip in the Republicans. See, don't miss the live show.
That's great.
Tell people, if you're a member, you get the whole live show whenever you want, because this stuff doesn't go into any of the clips.
Welcome to the Damage Report. I'm John Iadarola. This is gonna be a big one.
Meanwhile, in the Arctic, you know where this is going. You watch the Damage Report, the Arctic's on fire.
Obviously, why would we be talking about the Arctic except to tell you that it's melting once again? The Republicans aren't that interested in it. I wonder why. Lift out of poverty up to 3.7 million people, including an estimated 1.3 million children. Hashtag save the children? Not if it costs money. I mean, come on.
It's time to break down the myths of the right wing, the political elite in both parties, and the establishment media. Myths like the media has a liberal bias, hilarious, or America's a center-right country, preposterous. The truth is that the American people are progressive, and no matter what party or media elites say, justice is coming. I've written a book that makes this clear and shows you we're gonna get it done. It's called Justice is Coming, and you can get it anywhere books and audiobooks are sold. That is a story of human history. Change is the only constant, so change is coming. Hi, I'm Cenk Uygur. I'm in the studio recording my new audiobook, Justice is Coming. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Go out and listen wherever books and audiobooks are sold today. Everything that we've accomplished over the years is because of our members who've allowed us to remain independent of corporate interests and reach 20 million followers. Now is the time to bring as many people into the progressive movement as possible. We're inviting you to be the change and help bring a community-powered progressive change machine to life. Details are at tyt.com/change. If you're a member, thank you. We need you to remain so. If you're one of the thousands of viewers out there who's not a member yet, the time has come for you to join now. We need you more than ever. tyt.com/.
All right, welcome back. Horrific incident that is criminal, in my opinion. A woman is shot fatally, shoplifting, according to the cop. He was in fear of his life. Here it is.
I take to 29-3705 Managua, 3705. A female is hallucinating, too much of a loss for attend.
Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car.
Clinic 7 back in service, 1828.
Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out.
Get out of the car.
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 Judge, your shots fired.
Shots fired. Stop the goddamn car. Stop. Stop the goddamn car.
We're gonna have a 34 on. He's gonna be out.
They killed her. Put up this imagery. I want to highlight a couple of things here. One, when the officer calls in shots fired, there's no indication, obviously, who fired the shot. They do that intentionally. The only person who was shooting were the police officers. So they will say shots fired because news media, they are typically listening in. And they don't want anyone who's listening to those channels to know who has fired the first shot. And so they just say shots fired. That's number one. This young lady was pregnant. They killed her on August 24th. 21 years of age, Shaquille Young. Her life was ended over an alleged shoplifting that resulted in fatal shots through her windshield. Now, regardless of what you may believe about her actions, here's one fact: she's innocent. So that's a fact. She's innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. That's how it works in this country. So here's the fact: they shot an innocent person. There's more. Put up the other angle here. One of the officers orders Ms. Young out of her car. Another officer then draws his firearm, stepping in front of the vehicle. She asks, "Are you going to shoot me?" ? Before steering the wheel to the right to avoid hitting the officer. That's when the officer decided to fire a fatal shot into the car, sending the car into the brick wall of the grocery store. It is clear the shooting officer's action did not only escalate the situation, but led to the death from an alleged shoplifting incident. According to his own department, he would have needed to exhaust all other options before thinking about shooting at a moving vehicle, and he himself escalated the situation by stepping in front of the vehicle in the first place. The Blendon Township Department's policy states, quote, "An officer should only discharge a firearm at a moving vehicle or its occupants when the officer reasonably believes there are no other reasonable means available to avert the imminent threat of the vehicle, or if deadly force other than the vehicle is directed at the officer or others." Do you see that last part? Or if deadly force other than the vehicle is directed at the officer or others. Many department policies advise officers to move out of the way. But in the Ohio video, an officer is seen drawing his firearm, putting himself in the path of the car. You don't think he planned this? You don't think he knew exactly what he was doing? An officer is seen drawing his firearm and putting himself in the path of Miss Young's parked vehicle, which John P. Gross of the University of Wisconsin Law School called bad tactics. And oftentimes bad tactics translate to needing to use more force than was necessary. Gross said the officer should not put himself in front of the car. He can't stop the car with his body anyway. So what does that mean? He puts himself in a situation where he could claim, "I was in fear of my life," contrary to the policies and his training. There's more. The best practice, according to the expert, the best practice in these matters nationwide is that you do not put yourself in a position of danger. There was no urgent need for him to position himself in the way he did. Gross also questioned why the officer drew his firearm when the issue at hand was a shoplifting allegation. He urged changes to police training. I urge changes to police officers. You can't keep talking reform. You got to talk replacement. All right, share your thoughts here.
Premeditated, not far-fetched to me, as you indicated, Dr. Ritchie. If you have the wherewithal, first of all, to say shots fired and be very careful about that, because you know, media is listening in, you're doing other things as well. And I give it to your team again, coming up with all the details, the code of conduct, and you quoted it there. But I want them to go back, dig deeper, find the other book that's meant for Black women and Black men. There's another book. Anything goes in that one. There's no code of conduct.
There you go. Once again, culture eats policy alive every day. He broke all the policies, affixed himself to the culture, and gets to claim self-defense. It's insanity. All right, we'll bring you updates, obviously, as they come. Always a pleasure, Sharon, have you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
Appreciate you more, Doc. At Sharon Reed Live across all platforms, TYT Sports. Love every minute of it. Recorded new content today. I hope you'll check it out.
Looking forward to it, as always. All right, we got the bullpen next. Stick and stay.
Our system is inherently rigged against the will of the people.
They have 50% of the vote, and in a democracy, they should have 50% of the seats.
But if you live in an insanely gerrymandered district, your vote functionally doesn't matter.
We drew the map in a way that even though we get 50% of the vote, we're gonna get 13 out of the 18 seats.
You don't actually have the ability to translate the will of the voters in your area into actual government policy.
They should not be allowed to gerrymander these districts. We should actually have a democracy.
I've been honest with him. Like, yeah, I was upset with you and I shouldn't have done it. But instead I was like, I'm just trying to protect my engagement ring.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to big pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor or concern for whose toes we might step on or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen.
So, to make the situation more calm, because we do have a lot of people here, it would just be nice if you guys could leave, but we aren't. I can't wait on you guys. I have no idea. I'm not in the situation, but she, just to make it more calm, she said, you guys can calmly leave because we do have a lot of people around, or the police will be on their way, because they are, so.
But why do we have to leave? We just came to order food.
Yeah, of course.
I don't understand, what do we do?
I don't know.
That's not right, man.
We was planning on leaving, but we wanted to wait for the police to get here because we wanted her name.
Yeah, she didn't want to give us her name.
Because we want to submit a complaint.
Okay.
She refused to give us her name.
Yeah, she doesn't have to give her name.
But she works here, right? We waiting for a manager. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Do they have a manager on hand?
Did you guys do anything? No, we don't have a manager in today. They're all off because they've been working all week.
If I leave and the police get here, she could just come up and say anything. I try to rob them.
Yeah, I know. Did you guys do anything to disturb her or disturb any customers?
No, when she walked by,
yes.
I said, excuse me, because it seemed like she was,
Well, yeah, it's really busy today.
No, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I said, excuse me, because he's been sitting here for 15 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So, when she left, she came back with the menus, and she said, well, I don't want to be yelled at.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't yell at you. I was simply, can we talk outside real quick? Yo, record this.
I am.
Can we talk outside real quick? Just outside here.
It's crazy. They're refusing to serve us. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're refusing to serve us.
We have the victims of that discrimination on the show today. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the program. I wish it was under better circumstances. We have Damon Whitfield and also Hector Madera, both truck drivers. Thank you both for contacting us at Indisputable. And when I saw this video, my producer sent me this video, and I looked at the long form of the video. I said, they literally sent, or the person literally sent a proxy waitress to tell you all that there would be no service. But there already was no service at this Denny's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Dennis has now responded. I will read the response in just a moment. But gentlemen, what was going through your mind when this was happening in real time? And I will start with Hector.
I mean, to be honest, it was just unexpected. It's just something that we weren't ready for. I surely wasn't ready. We went in there, wanting to place orders just like any other place. You go to, you walk into, you walk into a place to place an order, and we were just blindsided by it. I'm still trying to, gather my thoughts and trying to gather myself over how it went down, and just the feeling of anxiety that I still feel from that.
Yeah.
I walk into these places and now I wonder, am I going to be submitted? Are we going to be submitted to these same, things again? It's definitely it's a shame.
Yeah.
They kind of I feel as though they took a piece from us that day. They took from us something that we can't get back, which is, it's kind of degrading, they robbed us. They try to rob us of our humility and, just dignity and self-worth and respect. I believe it's unfair, and I just want I want them to be held accountable, simply put.
And I agree with you. And let me ask, and this was really interesting. I'm gonna go to Damon. Damon, the waitress who started this whole thing, not the proxy waitress who delivered the message, but according to Denny's, that waitress has been fired by their local franchise owner. What went through your mind when this was happening? And can you also tell us about the alleged connection between the original waitress that was racist and did not serve you all and the owner of that Pilot gas station?
Okay, so we came in originally to get something to eat, like it's on video, and we basically, I sat down first. Hector was in the shower. She gave me the 2 menus and the orange juice. This is what you don't see on the video. So I'm waiting, and I didn't, racism is the last thing on my mind. We're the only Black people there. So she's handling other customers, customers that came in after us. She's taking their orders, seating them, and things like that. So basically, she would walk by the table and she would look down and keep going. It was kind of weird, but I just felt like maybe she was just giving us time to decide what we want, or maybe she forgot. People are human. I figured, we go to restaurants all the time, and things like that happen. So a time goes by. Hector comes out of the shower. He sits down because he told me, just text me, just get me whatever you're gonna get. He texted that to me to do that. So I'm like, okay. And then he asked me when he got back, he's like, did you place the order yet? So I'm like, no, I think she might have forgot about us. So then he goes, excuse me, we're ready to place our order. And she goes, I don't like you yelling at me. He didn't yell. He wasn't rude. Nobody was out of the ordinary. And then he goes, I just wanted to say we're ready to place our order. And then she goes, well, I don't need you people calling me over to this table like that. So I'm looking at the menu, and I'm thinking that maybe she leaned over to basically, take his order. But I'm not processing what she's saying at the time. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, did she just say what I thought she said? And then he was like, yeah, but and then after that, he said, but I saw that you serving other people, and we just want to let you know that we're ready to place our order. Because like we said, we're not thinking racism or anything like that. So then she goes, you know what? I'm not serving you people. You need to get your stuff now and go. I'm calling the police. And then she snatches the menus out of our hands. But she snatched mine out of my hand, and she snatched the menu out of Hector's hand, and then she snatched the orange juice off the table, spilling some of it off of me. And then she walks to the back where the cook is, and then I see her on the phone, and I'm just assuming like maybe she's calling the police. So me and Hector looking at each other like, what in the heck just happened? So he's like, you know what? Let me go over to the waitress. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. Let me go and apologize. And I'm like, no, don't go and apologize. You didn't do anything. So he goes over there and he's like, excuse me, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I just want to apologize if there's any misunderstanding. We just want to place an order. And she goes, no, there's no misunderstanding. I want you people out. The cops are on their way. So then he comes back to me and he goes, let's just leave. And I'm like, no, we're not leaving. Let's stay right here. And I said, let me ask the other waitress if maybe she can help us and take our order, which is the one that's on the video. And I said, excuse me, miss, can you take our order? And then she says, unfortunately, we can't serve you. And then she goes into what she says on the video, unfortunately, could you not be a disturbance to the customers and, whatever she said, Wow. But it's just, sorry.
Talk about this connection also, the Pilot gas station, a manager or the owner offered you something afterwards?
Right, so the manager, the lady, I was told, is the district manager's wife. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what the Pilot. So there's that manager, and then there's the assistant manager for Pilot. I don't want to say any names or anything, but he was very helpful. He said, he saw after we spoke to the cops, he came up to us because he saw that we were upset, and he was like, what happened? I said, they don't want us in there. They kicked us out, and he was like, what for? I said, they don't want.
All right, we had a technical issue. Back, Damon, in just a minute. Let me do this. I want to read the statement from Denny's if we can put that statement up, I want to read the partial statement on air. So you can find this full statement online. It says Denny's is committed to a culture of inclusion and service excellence for all guests. We conducted a thorough third-party investigation into the incident at the Denny's location in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As a result of the investigation, the franchise owner immediately took decisive action, and the employee is no longer with the company. Denny's maintains a strict zero tolerance policy when it comes to any form of discrimination. We acknowledge there were opportunities to improve the service level in this specific situation. We maintain our commitment to ongoing training and development of all staff. The employees at the location will immediately go through a dedicated training program to ensure the team delivers above and beyond our guests' expectations. We regret this incident and want to apologize to the guests involved. Clearly, we fell short of our standards, our own standards that day, and are committed to making it right. Let me go to Hector, all right? When you hear that statement from Denny's corporate, what's your response to that?
I believe that more needs to be done. At the end of the day, I feel like, it's 2023. We've had many years of progress as far as like race relations and stuff like that. But, you look at an instance like this and you just wonder, how far have we gotten? I feel like as far as firing the waitress, that should have been done immediately. That should have been handled right there at that location. We try to handle it right there, with management. You can see there was no management, supposedly. We reached out to corporate, and we didn't have any sort of, we didn't get any feedback until you aired it, until you put it on your platform, which we appreciate and we're thankful of. Because outside of that, had it not been for, you putting it out there, it would have just been swept under the rug. And I feel like it's just a half apology. It's not, more needs to be done. Denny needs to be held accountable, and it's just so much.
To my understanding, once again, they do want to talk. They have reached out. They've made an apology, at least on record. And you gentlemen are not going to have that conversation until you have an attorney with you in the room, which I concur. I think that's exactly the approach. Let me go to you, Damon, and ask you, when the cop came, because we see one officer, we don't know how many officers were there, but when that cop came and told you all, let's go outside and talk. One, what was going through your mind? Because that's a dangerous situation. Cops come, black men, there's a narrative that likely is false against you. Number one. Number two, they're telling you to walk outside. What was said in that conversation with the police officer?
Well, so as we're walking out, I'm trying to explain to people, because they're looking at us like we must have done something wrong. And I'm like trying to explain to them, like, they refusing to serve us. You can hear me in the video saying that. And then I'm looking for someone to stand up and say something or stand up for us, because and then I turn around. I even turn around to the cop, because I figured maybe he didn't know either. Like they're refusing to serve us. And then he was like, right this way, outside. So it kind of felt like one of those, we're in one of those towns in the movies where it's like a racist town, and we're being walked out by like some executioners or something like that. And I'm like, and we were afraid because we didn't know what type of police were on their way. We're in an all-white restaurant with a racist waitress that called the cops on us. She endangered our lives by calling the police. You don't call police unless there's a crime. We didn't commit a crime. We weren't belligerent. We weren't disturbing no customers like this lady, tried to say or ask or whatever. And when we got out and we explained it to the cops what had happened, they were like trying their best to help us. Actually, they were saying, the first cop was saying, no, I'm gonna go inside and see if I can get some information and he got the table number for the lady that was waiting on us because she didn't want to give her name. And then the other cop was trying to say, the situation with what happened to him, and then he said, we're sorry for what happened to you, because he knows, he knows what happened, he knows what it is.
That is so ironic, isn't it? That the responding police officers, once they heard the full story, right, they have more sympathy, empathy for your situation than seemingly the local store, the local Denny's.
Yes.
And I think it's important for everyone to note, these gentlemen literally reached out multiple times to resolve this administratively at the local and corporate level. So it's not as if this happened and all of a sudden they contacted Indisputable. They contacted Indisputable when there was no movement, no response appropriate to what happened in that video. Naturally, there's going to be an update to this when you all do meet with Denny's and they either make a move that is to your satisfaction or they do not make a move to your satisfaction. I hope they don't do that. I would definitely cover it if they do. But what would you like to see happen? And Hector, I want to ask you first, what would you like to see happen? Or maybe is there a general framework you would like to see Denny's engage in to make this right by you all?
First of all, I would expect for there to be some sort of sincere or more sincere public apology. We were embarrassed, we were humiliated in front of many people. It's gonna affect me and Damon, later on down the road in many ways. Absolutely, they need to be held accountable. Like I said, we're in the process of speaking with legal advisors. We're definitely in the process of filing a civil complaint. A civil lawsuit. And it's a lot. It's a lot to try to put together in words, but hopefully we get a good result from this. We have a good result from this.
And I want to echo something you said, Hector. I'm going to go to Damon for the question. This has had real impact on your life. So not only in that moment do you have to experience that level of degradation, beyond that moment, there's this public response. Now, obviously people like myself and many, many others, they see it for what it is. Even at least one of the officers could see it for what it was at that moment. But you also have individuals on social media saying some really, really horrible things about you two gentlemen. And these elements exist in our social construct. So Damon, I want you to speak to that. What has the experience been like from those on social media who have been adverse to the reality that you and Hector were treated unfairly inside of this Denny's?
I want everybody who's watching to put yourself in shoes. Anybody of any race, if you go into a establishment and you're the only person of your race there, you in the back of your mind, nobody talks about this, but in the back of your mind, you're like, you're wondering if you're going to be treated unfairly or whatever the case is. So, it takes courage just to walk through the door of a place like that. We walked in there not thinking anything, and and then this happened. We were so stunned. I didn't have time to record the first waitress because we were just, nobody pulls out their phone to record when you're about to take an order at a restaurant. Like I don't, I feel like I have to practice a recording draw on my phone or something, and it's like, when it happened, it was just, we were just in total shock. It's unpredictable and it can happen anytime and anywhere. And as far as the training goes, I know that's what companies do and stuff like that. They want to more training. You can't train a racist. If a racist is a racist, that's deep rooted. So you just have to do your background check and make sure that they don't have anything coming into that company, because you can train them. You're just going to have a trained racist working for you. You know, and it's just going to happen again. And I feel like as far as the apology goes, you say sorry too many times, it starts to lose its value. You know, this happened how many times with Denny's? I didn't even know this until this happened. And people told me that this happened before. And I'm like, you know, they say zero tolerance. How is that zero tolerance? And it happened multiple times. They have a racist resume. Like, we're part of this resume now.
You know, you do make a really, really interesting point about the reality of that training. And we contextualize a fix as, well, everybody's going to go through training. And I know corporate has to say that, right? They got to say things like that. But everybody didn't do it, and it was still allowed. That's a culture, in my opinion. It's not about the action of one, it's about the action of those who permitted the one to do so. That speaks more so to culture. We definitely will have you gentlemen back. I'm sorry you went through this. Obviously, you have an advocate in me and everyone who supports platforms of truth. We all support both of you. You're fine, upstanding gentlemen, and I'm glad that you are able to turn the narrative so that you no longer have to be defensive. You don't have to explain yourself. We got a video, we know what happened, we got your back. Any words for Denny's before we part? And I will say this, the VP of Denny's reached out. I talked about this last week. Her name is April. She seems to be a very nice, sweet, and authentic individual. Unfortunately, this is just a very bad situation that Denny's is in. And I highly encourage Denny's to respond in an affirmative way to make whole you two gentlemen, and by extension, make whole the Black communities that produced you. All right, what words of any to Denny's?
For me, I would say, you know, we appreciate April for extending her apologies and on behalf of Denny's. Denny's need to do better.
Yeah,
you know, they need to do better. More needs to be done, and they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Damon?
I feel like Denny's, not to go off the topic, but the president of Pilot called me as soon as he heard what happened, and he apologized before the president of Denny's, and I respected that. He said what he's going to do, and he's going to make sure that this didn't happen again. And when I got the apology from April, I mean, I remember, I told you that it was a hollow apology. I'm not saying that she was mean. She was very nice and sweet and disrespectful at the same time, because she was, doing a lot of multitasking while she was apologizing to me. And I felt like, this is a tense, serious situation, and this is the apology that I got. No disrespect to her, but at the same time, I acknowledge her apology, but my heart doesn't accept it. So, I mean, going forward, in order for this to not happen again, they have to figure this out, because they're like repeat offenders, and I just wanted to stop here with this. I want this to be the last case of that.
Well said. Gentlemen, I appreciate both of you. Thank you for coming on the show. We'll give an update. Keep in touch with us, all right?
Thank you for having us. Thank you for giving us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you giving us your platform, giving us a chance to speak our story. Thank you.
That's what it's for, dear brothers. I appreciate you both. All right. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.